I've been wearing an Apple Watch for the past 4 years, but it's the one Apple product where I've never really stopped to think about the hidden features, tips, and tricks that are available for it. The watch on your wrist can do a lot more than just tell the time, and in this video, I'm going to share 20 tips and tricks for your Apple Watch with you. Okay, let's get into it. A feature that was introduced in iOS 17 is the ability to leave someone a video voicemail if they're not available to take your FaceTime call. A cool feature on the watch is the ability to view those videos on your watch. So if you know that someone has left you a video voicemail, go to the app list on your watch and choose the phone app. Scroll down and select voicemail. Any video voicemails that have been left for you will be visible here, and you can simply tap on one to play it like a regular video. There are some people out there who like to set their watch fast, maybe by 5 or 10 minutes, so that the time that they're working to is a bit earlier than the actual time. I guess if you're someone who's perpetually late, this might make sense, and there is a way that you can do this on your Apple Watch. On your watch, open Settings and choose Clock. The first option at the top of the page should say +0 min. Tap into it and use the digital crown to set your clock face fast by up to 1 hour. Note that the only thing that this will impact on your watch is the time on the watch face itself. Everything else will run off the actual time. If you receive a call on your Apple Watch, you can tap the green button to answer it and use the watch to take the call. I've had entire phone calls while I've been out where I've used the speaker and microphone in my watch for the entire call. There may be situations where you don't want to do this and would prefer instead to quickly find your phone and answer it there. Problem is, by the time you get to your phone, the person may have hung up. So instead of pressing the green button, tap the ellipsis button next to it and choose Answer Call on iPhone. Doing this answers the call, but puts the caller on hold while you go and find your phone. You can tap to resume the call on your iPhone when you find it. If you go to the Control Center and tap the iPhone icon, it will ping your iPhone, making it play a sound that you can follow to go and find it. But did you know that if you tap and hold on that icon, it will not only make your iPhone play a sound, but also flash the camera flash? This video is sponsored by Novium, creators of the Hover Pen. I'll be honest, I don't write as much these days with so much of my life going digital, so when I do, I want to do so using something beautiful, functional, and meticulously crafted, and that's definitely the case with the Hover Pen. I've been using a couple of different ones. There's the Hover Pen Interstellar Edition, Novium's most ambitious design. It's a refillable ballpoint pen sitting at a perfect 23.5-degree angle when on its base, a nod to the Earth's axial tilt, and it does it all using magnets. So while it's sitting on your desk, it's going to complement your setup perfectly, and when you pick it up to start writing with it, it's just the most enjoyable writing experience. It's light but well balanced, feels great in the hand, and it's available in a range of colours: Space Black, Starlight Silver, Mars Magma, and Neptune Blue. Then there's the Hover Pen Future Edition, which combines a fountain pen and a rollerball. You simply change the tip depending on what your preferred writing style is. Most of my writing is jotting down ideas, so I tend to use the rollerball, but I love that if I'm writing something a bit more special, I'm only seconds away from using the fountain pen instead. Oh, and because the pens are hovering, you can spin them while they're sitting on their base. I love this. I find myself doing it all the time while I'm trying to think up ideas for my next video. Whether this is something to sit on your desk or something to get as a gift for someone special, you can do so with a 10% discount using the code PHT or the link in the description of this video. Novium ship worldwide, so be sure to get yours today. If you start a workout on your Apple Watch, it will begin with a 3-second countdown. If you're doing some kind of sprint training, you probably want the countdown, but if you're doing anything else, especially something like just going for a walk, it is a waste of time. Simply tap the middle of your watch while the countdown is happening to skip it. You can log medication as you're taking it using your watch, saving you from ever having to do the whole "did I take my meds this morning" thing ever again. To do this, you first need to go to the Health app on your iPhone, tap the Browse button in the bottom right corner, and choose Medication. In here, you'll need to follow the steps to add a medication to your Health app. But once you've done this, you can go to the app list on your watch and choose Medication. Your medication will be listed here. Tap on the one that you'd like to log, then tap the Log button. Find My works really well across all of your Apple devices, but the one device where I think it adds the most value is your Apple Watch. Your watch is attached to your wrist all the time, so chances are it is the item that you're less likely to lose. As long as you have Find My enabled on all your devices, you can go to the App menu and choose Find Devices. If I tap on my iPhone, for example, I can see its location on a map, check its current charge state, and if I scroll down, I can send a request for the iPhone to play a sound to help me locate it. I can also tap on directions to get directions to its location. If you scroll down, you can also toggle on lost mode. This will immediately lock the device and display contact information on the screen so that if someone finds it, they can use that information to return it to you. Also, if you go back to the app menu, you've also got Find Items, which is for use with your AirTags, and you've got Find People, which can help you locate anyone sharing this information with you. Your watch has a waterlock mode, which is designed for when you go swimming. So if you know that you're about to jump into a pool, tap on Control Center and tap the water icon. Your watch will enter waterlock mode. During this time, the screen becomes less responsive, meaning you're less likely to tap it by accident while you're underwater, and it will also stop things like the excessive noise warning from happening, because this does trigger all the time underwater if you don't enable this mode first. When you get out of the water, simply tap the side button to open Control Center, and your watch should automatically recognize that you want to disable waterlock mode. Tap and hold the digital crown for just a moment to eject any water from your watch. One of the biggest frustrations of the watch, in my opinion, is how difficult it is to access an app. There's no home screen, so you can't select apps using that method. One option is to add complications for the apps that you frequently use, but there is a limit to the number of complications you can have, and I'm not sure how practical this actually is. In my opinion, the easiest way to solve the issue is to tap and hold on the digital crown to activate your voice assistant, and then say the name of the app that you'd like to open. For example, you can say Messages, and your watch will open the Messages app. Or you could say Settings to open the Settings menu, or you could even say Accessibility to not only open Settings, but also navigate to the Accessibility page within Settings. This tip is kind of controversial because it's actually referencing a feature that was removed in watchOS 10, which many people really liked. Before watchOS 10, if you double tapped the digital crown, it would switch you between two open apps. Unfortunately, that feature is no longer available, but in its place is the ability to open the App Carousel. This is the same as the App Carousel on your iPhone, where you can scroll between open apps and tap on one to quickly jump back into it. The only difference is that if you want to force quit an app here, instead of swiping up like you would on your iPhone, you swipe from right to left and tap the red cross. If you find viewing the content on your watch difficult, there is a zoom option. On your watch, open Settings and choose Accessibility. Tap on Zoom to toggle this option on. With Zoom enabled, use two fingers to double tap on your watch face to zoom in. Use the same two fingers to move around on the watch face, similar to using a trackpad. Double tap with two fingers to zoom back out. You can adjust the level of zoom by double tapping and keeping your fingers pressed down on the second tap, then swipe up or down to change the zoom level. The best camera on your iPhone is the one on the back of your iPhone. It's always going to be better quality than the selfie camera. The problem, of course, is that if you want to take a selfie, you need to be able to see the screen to know what you're taking a picture of. Your watch has a function called Camera Remote that you can access by going into the app menu and choosing it there. This will show you a preview on your watch of what your camera is seeing. If you tap the ellipsis menu, you can choose from the front or rear camera. You can also choose whether or not to enable a flash and whether or not to have a live photo. At the top of this page, you have the option of enabling or disabling a 3-second countdown timer. I would recommend enabling this because it gives you the opportunity to set up and preview the image using your watch, and then a couple of seconds to compose yourself and look at the camera. A follow-on from the previous tip, if you tap and hold on the shutter button, you'll begin recording a video. You can even switch through the different lens options available by using the digital crown to zoom in and out. Using either the dictation or the on-screen keyboard, you can reply to messages using your watch, but you might find it easier to use the default replies instead. The good thing about these is that you just tap on one to select and send it. The bad thing about them is that they're pretty generic, so it is worth taking a couple of moments to set up your own default replies. Open the Watch app on your iPhone and scroll down to Messages. Here, tap on Default Replies. You can enable or disable smart replies if you wish. This is where your watch will try to intelligently figure out the kind of reply you would like to send. Regardless, I would recommend that you choose Add Reply and type in your own response. Anything that you add here will then be available the next time that you receive a message on your watch. If your watch supports the keyboard, which I believe is a Watch Series 7 or newer, or any Watch Ultra model, you can use the digital crown to move the cursor through text while you're writing. It's really easy to do, and it makes it much easier to correct any mistakes. The Maps app on your watch is extremely useful, especially if you're somewhere unfamiliar. The problem can sometimes be that your connected iPhone doesn't have data reception, which means that maps won't load. One way to fix this is to download a map for an area that you plan on visiting ahead of time. To do this, your iPhone will need to be updated to at least iOS 17. Open the Maps app and tap on your Apple ID. Tap on Offline Maps and choose Download New Map. Input a location and use the guides to select the area that you'd like to download. Tap the download button when you're ready. The map will be downloaded to your iPhone, and as long as you have your iPhone with you, your watch will be able to access that downloaded data. So if you like to go walking in places where there isn't much signal, this is a game changer. Side note, this also works on Apple CarPlay. The app list on your watch is kind of a mess, regardless of whether you use the list or grid view. Part of the reason for this is that there are loads of apps that you're probably not using. With this in mind, I would recommend getting rid of anything that you don't use. Open the Watch app on your iPhone and scroll down until you reach the section called Installed on Apple Watch. These are all versions of apps that have been automatically installed on your watch. For anything that you don't want, tap on the app and toggle off Show App on Apple Watch. This will remove the app from your watch, but won't impact the app on your iPhone. If you change your mind and you want to install something back, scroll down to the bottom of the list and you'll see a section called Available Apps. This represents any apps that aren't currently installed on your watch, but are installed on your iPhone and have a compatible watch app. Simply tap Install to install the app on your watch. One of the most misunderstood features of the Apple ecosystem, in my opinion, is focus modes. This is where you can have different modes set up for what you're doing. A personal focus mode, work focus mode, driving focus mode, pretty much anything you like. When in a focus mode, your devices will operate and look slightly different. For example, you could set a work focus mode where your iPhone has a completely different home screen compared to your personal focus mode where you remove apps like Instagram or TikTok. But did you know that you can also apply this to an Apple Watch face? On your iPhone, open Settings and choose Focus. For this example, I'm going to tap into my work focus. You can see a section here called Customize Screens. The first two options are for choosing a custom screen for your iPhone, both lock screen and home screen, but the third option is for your watch. Tap Choose and then select the watch face that you would like to apply to this particular focus mode. Note that if you don't have options here, you might have to go into the watch app and create some new watch faces. Now with the watch face selected, if I go to Control Center on my iPhone and change my focus mode from personal to work, you can see that my watch face changes as well. I'll change it back to personal and the watch face goes back to how it was. You can get super creative with this and have different watch faces for all of the different things that you do. I talk about shortcuts here on the channel all the time because I think it's one of the best features of the iPhone. I've already made a couple of videos about shortcuts, which I will link to in the description of this video, but shortcuts combined with the Apple Watch can be really powerful. A shortcut is essentially a command to do pretty much anything that your phone can do. Let's say that I've created a shortcut to turn on all the lights in the downstairs of our house and also set our robot vacuum cleaner to clean the floors. I can't show you the process of creating that particular shortcut in this video. You'll need to watch some of my shortcut videos to get a feel for how to create them yourself. But the beauty of shortcuts on your watch is that once created, you can assign a shortcut to your watch. On any Apple Watch, you can go to the Watch app on your iPhone, tap on your watch face and scroll down to Complications. For any of the complications, you can go to Shortcuts and choose your shortcut from the list there. If you have an Apple Watch Ultra, you can even assign a shortcut to the Action button. Open the Watch app on your iPhone and choose the Action button. In here, tap where it says Action and choose Shortcut. Scroll back out a page and tap where it says Shortcut. Choose your shortcut from the list to assign it to the Action button. Your watch can tell you the time instead of you having to look at it. To enable this, open Settings on your watch and choose Clock. Scroll down and ensure that Speak Time is enabled. If you choose Control with Silent Mode, this function won't work if you have your watch silenced. For this, you would need to choose Always Speak. Then, at any time, use 2 fingers to tap and hold on the clock of your watch face for just a moment. Your watch will speak the time to you. It does this using your Siri voice of choice, but give it a try if you use the Mickey or Minnie Mouse watch faces, you might be pleasantly surprised. So there you go, 20 tips and tricks for the Apple Watch. What do you think? Anything that I should have included in the list? Drop me a comment and let me know. Oh, and remember, if you'd like to pick up your own hover pen, you can do so via the link in the video description and use code PHT for a 10% discount. And as ever, if you found this video useful, do please consider leaving me a like and subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. See you on the next video.